Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today as we get into video number 1 out of 2. Yes, and this has come very early for a lot of you and you're probably thinking, what? Well, you can watch this on your lunch break or you can watch this if you're not doing anything and you've woken up and you're about to start the day. Do what you want, but you've got the whole day to watch this, and then later on tonight, you're going to be getting video number 2. So make sure you guys are here for that. I wanted to do this because there's a lot of news that came out yesterday, but with the Liverpool United game taking the attention away, I felt like it would be good to get into some good discussion today on everything. So we're going to start off with Fofana. What has happened with Wesley Fofana? We got told that he's out for the season. Maresca himself said so. Fofana has other ideas and other plans, apparently. So let's get into it. Wesley Fofana, confident to return ahead of schedule from his injury, as L'Equipe reported. Chelsea defender hopes to be back around mid to the end of March in order to help for the final months of the season. Can I just add, if he comes back at the end of March, he helps for the final month. Because after that, there's really not much left of May. You know, when does the season end? I think it's halfway through May. Barely helping. But this is what happened. Let's clarify it. And shout out to Alexis Kavkas View, who's got his own channel, who put this up on Twitter, X, and has given the translation and posted exactly what I want to show you. So here it is. This was the post on his Instagram, right? Fofana's Instagram, saying, in French, that's the French version. I could read that. I'm not going to. But there's the translated version. That's not true. I'm not out for the rest of the season. I don't know why he said that, but it's not true. I'm back in 4 to 6 weeks. So that's the translation of this message here, which is accurate. I can confirm. So what's going on here? There was one report. Okay, and funnily enough, this came from L'Equipe as well, that said Fofana was offered surgery, and surgery would have kept him out to the end of the season. Fofana has refused that surgery, and because he's refused that surgery, it means that he's just going to try and allow the muscle to heal on its own, which means that, 4 to 6 weeks, he should be back. But is he going to get injured again? You know, this is the issue Reece James had with his hamstring, if you remember. This is the issue that N'Golo Kante had with his hamstring, if you remember. Kante went and had surgery. Reece James eventually went and had surgery. Fofana's turned it down. He's going to try and just do it, you know, Mother Nature way. So maybe that's where Maresca thought it's the end of the season. He thought that maybe medically there's no other solution. He's going to have surgery. Maybe that was just the only reason. But you'd think that Fofana would know that. So why is he saying, I don't know why he said that? It's not clear. Now, why he said that, there's also another possibility here, which we're going to get into. Here's what L'Equipe had to say, funnily enough. Still L'Equipe. Some people believe that Maresca is displaying such pessimism on Fofana because he wants to put pressure on the club to deliver him a new centre-back this window. The player believes that he will be back well before the end of the season. So, that's Enzo Maresca. Could this be the case? Could this be the case? Well, let's get into some other sources and news and just to try and paint a picture, okay? Let's get to this. This is Patty. Very, very good Chelsea account. I recommend, right? Who came out initially with this. I also understand Maresca pushes to sign a centre-back and striker this winter, or this window. SDs want to assess in the summer. Maresca is not happy. And then L'Equipe came out with that. He said, I said this yesterday and I got called out. Only if the sporting directors hear us. So, what is going on? What is going on? Now, there's more. I want to show you this as well, and I want to get things in order because I feel like this is important. Here's more from Patty. Chelsea board directors are also considering bringing back Chalobah, but they believe player don't want to be back up again when he's getting minutes at Palace. Maresca insists to bring non-injury prone centre-backs. Hang on. Was there not a brief a few days ago telling us that Chalobah has no break clause in his loan deal to Palace? His season-long loan to Palace that apparently didn't have a break clause, which means he can't cut the loan short. Chelsea can't recall him, basically. But apparently, he's an option to bring back. What's the truth? You see, this is the problem with Chelsea and briefs. There's a constant briefing. There's a constant PR, which is just ridiculous. That this is one thing that has been consistent from the get-go since the owners walked in. And it's just been constant brief. What's the truth? God knows. But one thing seems for sure, Maresca isn't happy and wants players. Could this be a reason as to why results have gone left recently? Could it be? Because now we move to CFC PYS, right? Max, he's come out and said this. Maresca asks for updates on moves out, wants a striker, centre-back and midfielder. Could be persuaded for centre-back. Chelsea have considered recalling Chalobah in the last few days. Feeling player wants to stay at Palace though. Also goes on to say Chelsea never planned to move in January. This is the issue. Internally, points made towards key players coming back and the fantastic start to the season. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Because on one hand, there's this, yeah? On one hand, at the very beginning, we were told the head coach, whoever it is, right, isn't really going to have the say when it comes to transfers, right? But this is always why I found that approach a little bit, not ridiculous, but it has to be both ways. It can't be just the club or just directors. The coach needs to have players that fits his way. That's just standard. You can't get a team of players across all 11 or the entire squad, right, that all fit any manager. That can't happen. Manager needs players that can refine, you know. You do get players that can play with multiple systems, multiple ways, multiple approaches. They can. We've had them in the past, right? You get the legends, JT and Lamps and Didier and all these guys to play under a defensive manager, no problem. An attacking manager, no problem. A possession manager, no problem. Just a sit back and wait and counter-attack manager, no problem. But they'll do it. Those guys can. But the players around need to be refinements according to the manager in charge. So you build a spine. And funnily enough, I mentioned spine. We now turn to the positions where we need players, apparently. And according to Maresca, with these reports, he wants a centre-back, a midfielder, and a striker. Oh, guess what? A spine. This is where we turn to the recruitment with all the money spent, and it's not good enough overall. There have been some gems that were bought. Absolutely. I'm not taking that away. Cole Palmer, Caicedo, Enzo's now coming out of his shell. Fantastic. There have been. But there's been other players here that have just been part of that 1.5 billion we've spent, and it's like, what are we doing? And we're still lacking. We need a goalkeeper too, don't we? So you can argue Cole Palmer, definitely part of a spine. Caicedo, definitely part of a spine. Where's the depth in midfield? And where's the big man up top? And where's the world-class goalkeeper? That should be the spine. That's a non-negotiable. So this is where I can understand Maresca's frustration, but also if he's coming in knowing that I don't have a say on transfers and now he is making his opinion known, some would say you knew what you signed up for. But at the same time, like I've always looked at it as no matter who it is, a manager or a head coach, it has to be in their image. It has to be. So if Maresca does have frustrations, or concerns, I share them right now. 100%. 100%. Especially in terms of our striker. And especially in terms of our goalkeeper. Those two ends of the pitch need to be proper creme de la creme, which we've not got. And the depth in the team right now, if we turn, well, let's take a look at this. West Ham are interested in Dewsbury Hall and Chukwuemeka. They're going to be leaving the club. It's also been made clear that Cassidy is on his way out. So let's check this out. Cassidy has said yes to Torino and expected to have medicals next weekend once there's an agreement. Torino pushes for £9 million package plus add-ons. Chelsea want 12 million permanent, plus add-ons, plus future sell, buyback, any one of them. Wednesday ideal for deal to happen. They also want Beto from Everton, right? Also says Chelsea had no idea to sell him permanent, but player refused to go on loan as he seeks permanent minutes, where he was promised to get last year when he got recalled from Leicester. There's also one more player who wants to get sold this window. So we've bought players that now are on their way out. Cassidy we bought in, how much was he? Up to 15 million, I think. 15 million plus 5 million add-ons, if I'm not mistaken, that was the deal. And we'll still make money because, contract length, don't worry, book value, we'll be in the profit. But this is the whole point. These sort of players are going to be brought in and then shipped off straight away just to make a quick buck. And same goes Chukwuemeka. Dewsbury Hall was brought in for Maresca and he's already going to be shipped. Because there's no use for him. And there isn't a use for him. There was no point getting him. So, here's the latest on them. Carney and KDH both pushing to leave. Now, as Matt Law said, it out so can share some more news. As per my knowledge, KDH was not ill last match day and was okay to train. There's been some arguments between agents and sporting directors on minutes promised for these two. Again, I go back to the same point. Is this why results have started to go left? Is there some instability happening behind the scenes? You have to entertain that question. You have to. Because it happens time and time again. When things are unsettled behind the scenes, it can affect what's going on the pitch. For sure. And right now, Maresca is the middleman. Maresca is the guy that has to be aware of what's going on that level, but also has to be the one to sort things out on the pitch and with the squad at his disposal. If he's unsettled, the team are unsettled. So, again, is this why there have been results that have gone left? Now, you could argue tactically, you could argue chances missed, especially in the last game, absolutely. But it's not looking as straightforward as it was when we started the season or a few games after the season. We went on that big run. Things were looking lush. We were scoring loads of goals. Now it's just stopped. So, overall, this all does go back to recruitment. And this is why I stress, and I stress, and I stress. If we are going to be making Champions League football next season, which is a non-negotiable at this point, because if we don't get it, we have failed and heads will have to roll. I said this at the start of the season. I ain't letting go on that because we've waited enough. If we get Champions League football, this squad, the way that it is right now, is not prepped to go and play top-end Premier League football and Champions League football at the same time. And what do I mean by that? In order to stay in a respectable position in the Premier League and hold your own in the Champions League with this squad is impossible. We've got depth in numbers. We haven't got it in quality. And to play Champions League football alongside Premier League and keep yourself at a good position, you need to have quality. So, at the end of this season, once the window begins in the summer, and if we have made Champions League football, it is absolutely imperative that we go out and get 2 or 3, I don't want to say superstars, because you're not going to do that, but top quality to reinforce this squad and this team. Because what can happen then? Those sort of guys can step in. And anyone that has been playing at a decent level can now become squad depth. Now, that is not going to be great for them, but you got to fight. You got to have competition. Mate, you're at Chelsea Football Club. Deal with it. You got to show what you can do. But we're playing Champions League football now, not Conference League. It has to be taken seriously. If not, we're not going to get anywhere. And one example of those players, here it is. Galatasaray are currently 100% convinced that Victor Osimhen will not leave the club this winter. That's from Florian Plettenberg, Sky Sports. Well, of course not. And this is what I'm saying. It's this sort of reason why I'm saying January is going to be a poor window. Nothing's going to get done. What I will say is the way that our centre-back situation is at the moment, if we can recall Chalobah, recall him. Recall him. If we can. Bring him back. In midfield, what are we going to do? Santos, right now, it probably seems like the only option if Lavia cannot stay fit. Up front, we ain't got a solution. Simple as that. Trust Jackson, trust Mark Gu. If Jackson's not up to it, trust Mark Gu. That's all we've got. That's all we've got. You see what I mean? Like this sort of squad, that element of the squad that I've just mentioned, Jackson Gu, do you reckon that's realistic to go into the Champions League and use? It's not. It's not good enough. It's nowhere near. This is my point. There has to be top reinforcements brought in. Top. So that's something to worry about if we make Champions League football, which we better. But that's the latest. And I thought this is why you can understand why I wanted a whole video on all of these things. Let me know what you think's going on. Let me know what you think is happening. And is there a correlation between results and all of this that's been going on? And what do you expect from the January transfer window is what I want to ask you. In terms of Chelsea Football Club, ins and outs, what do you expect from the January transfer window? Let me know. Much appreciated. And I will see all of you later on tonight for video number 2. So make sure you guys are here for that. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell on. Don't forget to check out the socials. They are on screen and in the description for you to click on right now, including the second channel, personal channel. Make sure you're there and you're subbed for brand new videos as they drop imminently. And I'll see all of you later on. Have a good one, people. Look after yourselves. Take care and peace.